We're going to walk through the process of replacing an existing pole with a new pole and then transferring the existing construction units onto that new pole. And we want to do this without making any changes to the CPR for the transferred units. So this is a scenario that could happen, for example, when a pole is damaged in a car accident and the pole itself needs to be replaced, but everything connected to it may be perfectly fine. It just needs to be transferred over to the new pole once it's installed. So first thing we need is to have a job that we have selected for all the removals, the installation, and the transferring to occur on. So I already have a job selected here that I created. So let's go take a look at it. So it doesn't have any installations or removals or anything on it at this point. So I just want to make sure that it's selected. You can see here that it is listed and under the construction units pane as the selected job. So we'll start with that. And the first thing we're going to do after that is to actually select the pole, which I've already done. And then I'm going to copy and paste it. So to do that, we're going to click on the map feature, click on copy, and then click on paste. And so you'll see the other label that popped up here has the exact same pole number. So what we have basically is a pole that's directly on top of another pole. They are identical except for the object ID and the global ID. And so I want to go and select that old pole. It's going to select a new one by default. So let me go to the old one first so that we can do some work on that. So I'm just going to draw my rectangle on here to get kind of close. And then I want to rename the old one and give it a -old to the end of the pole number so it's really clear which one we're dealing with. So to be able to tell the difference, and they're pretty much identical besides these two fields up here, just look for the newer, or the older object ID. So in this case, there's 4184 and then 2231. So clearly the 2231 was the old one. I'm going to click inside station number now and just type in old. Okay, so now that shows up as old here. That's exactly what we want. The next thing we want to do is then go back to the OpenPoint menu, and we're going to do a removal of the old pole unit. So back on construction units on the job layout tab, and then I'm going to click on remove. And I'm just going to select the pole itself. So I'm going to leave the other two items on here, and those will be the ones that get transferred. But the pole from 1971, that's what is going to actually get removed. So we'll remove that. And now we can actually do the transfer from the old to the new. So to do that, we're going back to the construction units pane here, and we're going to say transfer. And so the first thing it's going to want is you to select the transfer from. And so right now I've got the that old existing pole is already selected. Since I already had it on the map selected, it's going to select it there for us. So I can just say continue. And now I just need to go and tell it what the new pole is. So transfer to, and it's saying select an OpenPoint feature. I'm in selection mode now. So if I go to my attributes tab and I click on that other pole there, then now I've got that. I could have also selected it on the map just by drawing and clicking and whatnot. So I've got the from, I've got the to, and now I just need to tell it which units I want to transfer, so what plant I want to transfer. So I'm going to come down here and I want both of these items, the ground rod and the cross arm, to be transferred over. And so then I just click on transfer. So we've done the transfer now. And so the next step really is to go and do the installation of the new pole construction unit on the new pole. So since I had just clicked on the new one previously, it's still selected. So that's exactly what we want, to select that. And now I'm going to say install. And then we just need to go and find the construction unit. And it was a P40.4. So I'm going to select that. And all the other information here is perfectly fine, so we'll just leave those the way they are. And at this point, I'm actually going to go and save my changes. So we'll go to the Save menu, click on that, and I'll say yes. And then generally, you'll probably, if this is kind of the completion of it, you would go back to the Jobs menu and then say Send to Approval. And so that not only advances it to the next stage in the workflow, but it also will synchronize all the changes with OpenPoint Web in the cloud so that you can see them in both places. At this point, I could also click on the staking sheet. And so let's take a look at what the staking sheet does in this particular case. So it has our installation of the new pole. It's got the removal of the old pole. And then we have these two transfer froms right here. Let me make that a little bit bigger. Transfer froms from the old poll, and then we've got the transfer tos to the new poll. And so that will basically show you what's happening as far as the transferring, the installation, and the removal process. And so that pretty much completes the steps involved. You would then want to later on you would end up saying send to constructed, and so that's what will actually commit the changes to the plant. So let me go ahead and do that. And that will also synchronize with OpenPoint Web. And then the final step is to just get rid of the old poll. And so you've already named the new one. It has the old name, but no dash old on it. And so we'll just go and do our selection, and I will select the two there. And I'm going to go to old poll, and then I'll right click, and then I will say delete, and that will complete the process.